So AI is rewriting the cybersecurity playbook, but in this video, I'm going to show you 5 things that is going to allow you to stay ahead and stand out in the cybersecurity job market. Plus, I'm giving you some AI cybersecurity projects that you can do at home. Hey, my name's AJ. I've been in cybersecurity for the last 9 years, and on this channel, we teach all things cybersecurity for beginners. So let's get into it. First up then is using AI for detection engineering. Now, detection engineering involves building new detection signatures to be able to detect the latest attacker activity. And we can actually use AI to kind of help us with this. And what this looks like is that you'll have threat intelligence, which will go into the AI tool, which will become detection engineering, and which will go into a SIEM like Microsoft Sentinel. So before I explain it, if you're not aware of what a SIEM is, what you can see here is that you'll have network, and on that network, you will have a number of devices, servers, laptops, firewalls, antivirus solutions. They send logs to the SIEM. The SIEM then has a set of correlation rules, and these correlation rules then will actually generate alerts that send to you as the cybersecurity analyst to review, and then you either close out the rule as a false positive to actually try to improve the rule, or you'll be escalating as an active incident and going through the incident response process. So what we're going to be looking at here is the SIEM correlation rules. So how do we stay up to date and how do we continually build these? So actually building these rules is what is called the detection engineering. So what this looks like then is that now you know what a SIEM is. Threat intelligence is open source information that helps us understand the latest attacker activities. And what we can do then is, this is an example of some threat intelligence related to an APT group, a hacker group called Lazarus. Well, in this article then, there's a lot of information in here detailing their latest attacker techniques. So what we can do, we can copy this into a tool like Grok or ChatGPT, and then we can then look to prompt. So what we can say then, using this threat intelligence article, I want you to build some Microsoft Sentinel SIEM use cases for detection engineering purposes. I also want you to provide me with a KQL query for each use case. So with this then, you can prompt it with different SIEMs. So there's different SIEMs out there. You've got Elastic, Splunk, Sentinel, for example, and then the query language will depend on the actual SIEM itself. But ultimately, once you start to understand one SIEM, you will start to understand them all. So whichever you're using, you can update your prompt related to that. And then you can say, please. So it's already got the using this threat intelligence article. You can say please if you want. If you don't want the AI to come and hunt you down in the future, say please and thank you to your AI tool. And then what you can do, hit enter. And what this is going to do then is go through and actually build some SIEM security use cases. As you can see here, it's going through each use case. So detection of malicious domains associated with the Lazarus group. It's also giving us a specific query here as well. So this is the query that we can then input into our SIEM tool and actually build a correlation rule or a detection rule from. So this is the idea here then, that this is going to give you specific use cases and a specific query then to be able to build out your own detection rules, correlation rules inside of your SIEM. So this is a great way to be able to actually do detection engineering with an AI tool like Grok or ChatGPT. Again, what you're seeing here is threat intelligence being fed into an AI tool to build detections through detection engineering and to be implemented into a SIEM like Microsoft Sentinel. The next place that the cybersecurity industry is heading, and it's already getting there at the moment, is to use AI to try and streamline defenses. And the way that we are looking to do that, and the way the industry is looking to do that, is with tools like Tines, which is a workflow automation tool, and it can work with a particular SIEM. So this is an example of Elastic SIEM, but Microsoft Sentinel, as I just explained, any SIEM, what they're looking to do is improve the workflows that are performed by cybersecurity analysts, and what they're looking to do is automate a lot of those workflows as well. So this is an example here then of Elastic, and this is an example of workflow in Talk. What it's showing here then, it's got a specific webhook where it's going to create a case, it's going to send an alert to Slack, and then it's going to do an IP reputation lookup in gray noise, and then it's going to check if it's malicious. It'll block it on the firewall, and then it'll get information about the specific block details as well. So these are the kind of things, so especially from here, looking up the IP, blocking the IP, for example, are things that were traditionally done by cybersecurity analysts, but now these AI tools like Tines and Talk and other ones like D3 Security are looking to automate a lot of these kind of level 1, level 2, and even level 3 cybersecurity analyst workflows. So it's very important that you start to learn these tools because I've been in cybersecurity for the last 9 years, and even now, I still need to continue to stay up to date, which is something that I really enjoy, but it's something that you have to be aware of. And this is where the industry is going, is with these kind of workflow automation tools. And the cybersecurity analyst role is moving more into a kind of engineer/analyst role as well. So there's a great article here from Elastic themselves, and you can come in here and read through how Elastic and Tines are teaming up to offer AI ops workflows to be able to automate security and observability through these different Tines workflows and automation tools. So this is a great insight into where the cybersecurity industry is going, and you can actually get hands-on experience with this. You can set up a trial for Elastic, and you can have a go with ingesting logs, and then ultimately trying to use Tines in there as well. If you want me to do a project video on this, let me know in the comments, and then I can look to get this set up as well. But this is where the AI cybersecurity industry is going, and this is a very important thing that you need to start to learn. Actually use AI for threat hunting. So similar to point 1, where we're using AI for detection engineering, we can gather threat intelligence, insert it into our AI tool, build out some specific SIEM queries or signatures, and then run them in our SIEM, and then we're ultimately performing threat hunting. So threat hunting is where we're looking across a customer's network for the latest attacker techniques to try and understand if there could be a threat in the network using these latest attack techniques. So similar to what we did with point 1, you could go through, build your own SIEM use cases, and then once you've got these use cases, then these queries aren't going to be 100%. You're going to need to update them for your particular SIEM. Sometimes they're not the best at writing queries as well, but it's definitely a good way to actually be able to prompt it to be able to improve the query or be able to improve it on your own as well. But this is definitely a good start. But then what you would be doing then, you'd be going into your SIEM tool, running these particular queries to try and understand if this latest threat intelligence article and the attacker techniques have been seen in the customer's network that you're working on. And what you're doing then is actual threat hunting. You're looking for threats in the network using some of the latest attacker techniques that have been released out there in the wild. So this is definitely a great way to do some threat hunting. This definitely, again, leans into the detection engineering side, but this is how you can use AI for threat hunting and threat intelligence. And you could also prompt it then, so you can ask it, how can I threat hunt with these specific queries? And it's going to go through a step-by-step plan on how you can actually look to do that. It's also going to give you some pivot queries, so you can run the original query, and then it's going to ask you to search for potentially related events associated to that initial query. So again, this is how you can use these type of AI tools to speed up your threat hunting process and to actually learn threat hunting as well. Up then, you want to start to learn about how AI systems and machine learning models can actually be compromised. So MITRE have this framework called Atlas. So if you're not aware of the MITRE attack framework, what they do, as I can show here, is that they detail the latest attacker techniques within certain steps that are taken by an attacker. So this gives you the steps that an attacker is taking, and then this gives you the specific technique that they're trying to attempt. So this is one that has been mapped to map possible attack scenarios to machine learning models. So what you can do in here then, like I said, you can understand how attackers are performing reconnaissance on these machine learning models, initial access. So you can go in here, it's got here ML, machine learning supply chain compromise. This is going to give you a summary of exactly what that is. And it's also going to give you some artifacts and some possible detection and mitigation techniques as well. So this is going to help you understand how these machine learning models are actually compromised, because more and more companies are implementing these machine learning tools, are adding more AI, artificial intelligence tools to their tech stack. And ultimately, if they can be compromised, then an attacker will try to take advantage of that. So understanding how to protect these systems is something that companies are really looking for out of cybersecurity professionals now. So when you're going into interviews, you can explain that you understand the possible scenarios, how a machine learning model could be compromised, how attackers might look to to gain access to these specific systems, and then what they're actually going to try and do on the back of that, what the impact is going to be, how will they exfiltrate, how do they actually collect data. All of this is something that you can learn from this MITRE Atlas framework, so I definitely recommend having a look into this. Then you want to start to understand the ethics behind artificial intelligence tools, machine learning models, and you also don't want to rely on these tools to be able to do your analysis, to actually be a proficient cybersecurity professional. You want these tools to kind of be like a backup or kind of an assistant to you. So you still want to be learning the fundamentals. You still want to understand the actual impact that these tools can have. So like we know, these tools can be used for defensive measures, but they can also be used for offensive measures as well, for more kind of red team, more kind of hacking. So you need to understand both sides and how these tools can actually hallucinate as well and potentially give incorrect information. You need to understand the ethics behind artificial intelligence tools before you just go blindly using them. Now, when it comes to interviews, this is the kind of thing that companies are going to want to know from you. They don't want you to just be somebody who can just run a query or run a prompt in an AI tool without actually knowing what it does. You need to be able to assess the information that it returns, understand if it's accurate, to actually be able to make an informed decision based on that information that is given to you. So please do use these tools. All cybersecurity professionals will need to use AI tools, but you do need to understand the ethics and be careful when you're actually using them as well. Because ultimately, the best cybersecurity professionals are going to be the cybersecurity professionals that understand cybersecurity, understand how to protect companies, but then they use AI tools and machine learning models just to speed up their workflows. So it's great to try to master these tools, but you should always be questioning them as well. So now that you know 5 new ways that AI is impacting cybersecurity, you can go away, start to learn these. Ultimately, AI and machine learning models are just another skill that you can put under your arsenal when it comes to going for interviews and going for jobs. And ultimately, if you can learn these new skills and you can stay ahead of other cybersecurity professionals, other beginners, then it's going to allow you to stand out when you're going for these interviews. So go and experiment with AI for detection engineering, using these workflow tools like Tines, using AI for threat hunting, exploring the MITRE ATT&CK framework and the Atlas framework, and ultimately understanding the ethics behind using AI in cybersecurity. So I just want to say thank you for watching. Now, if you're interested in knowing what I do on a daily basis as a cybersecurity analyst, go and watch this video next. Thank you for watching. I'll see you over there.